Hello, Loveland Magazine readers. This is Cassie Mattia here, and we have a special treat for you today. We have CeCe Collins, the president of the Little Miami River Chamber of Alliance. Hi, CeCe. How are you?
Good. So good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, and thanks for coming. I'm virtually coming, right? What's going on, David?
Well, I want to thank you, Cassie, and I want to thank CeCe for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Actually, I had a few questions written down, but I didn't even bother looking at them this morning because Cassie's got the questions covered. But I did have one I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Do you know where I can get a haircut?
Actually, it's happening right now. We're recording right now. It's about 2:30, and they're making the announcements of when all of that's going to happen and the restrictions and things like that. So I was just starting to listen to that. They covered bars and restaurants first, and then they were going into the hair as we started to meet here. So,
I thought there might be something bootleg down on the Little Miami River,
no,
East Kemper, where the bootleg stuff used to be.
If you see my husband's hair, I can get those trimmers out and give it a shot.
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. And you've also got a graduation coming up, haven't you? Is your son graduating?
Yeah, I have two. I have a senior in college and a senior in high school.
We did that one year, one from high school and one from college. And we threw one party, and the youngest one didn't quite get all the attention she should have.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I created an announcement on, you can do them online with pictures and all of that now.
Yeah.
Create an announcement, and the template had the date of come to our house, and on this date at this time. I just put we'll be celebrating soon.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, it's May 15th. I listened to the whole thing.
Okay.
May 15th is when all the salons are going to be opening. But we'll get rocking and rolling. CeCe, I got some great questions for you, and I'm excited to hear your answers.
Okay.
I want to start off, honestly, would you just share your experience this far, with the COVID-19 pandemic? Share your experience as a Loveland citizen and also as a leader of Loveland.
Sure. I'm going to do the leader of Loveland part first, if that's
all
okay.
Right. Yeah.
That part is frustrating. Certainly everybody wants to comply, and you'll hear more about that throughout some of the other questions. We want to comply. We see what's happening. I have an elderly mother as well. And, God forbid, I want to keep her protected and safe. But at the same rate, it's just frustrating is the one word that comes to mind for the businesses is, they rely on humans to come into their business and to, patronize them in order to stay open. And they've all worked so incredibly hard to get to where they are. As we know, downtown Loveland specifically has worked very hard to get to where they are today. Well, probably not today, but at this point in time. And it was going really well. So it's just, it's frustrating to see that, we can't do what we want to do, but everybody understands, the safety precautions and wants to be compliant. On the other hand, this is such a novel, not in a good way, situation that it's really kind of cool to see how creative the businesses are being, whether you're a restaurant or a doctor's office or, just an attorney or what have you. Everyone's being very creative to make things work as best they can. And so that's encouraging. And it's going to be, I think, really cool to see how some of them continue to get creative and make this work for all of them. It's such a fluid situation. As I just mentioned, we're hearing from the governor now, dates on hair, dates on bars, dates on restaurants, what you can do, what you can't do. So that to me is interesting to see. It's not about pushing the envelope as far as we can, but it's just about trying to be compliant and safe while still doing some business. And I think people want us to be open. So as a citizen, I think ditto a little bit. I want to go down there. I want to enjoy my my summer months and my spring months as the weather gets nicer. We've all been cooped up. We want to get out. I'm a social person. So it's been rough, but honestly, I've enjoyed a little bit of a break at the same time and enjoyed my children as much as they've been around. So that's
very well said. A very positive spin on that, definitely. Even though it's frustrating, you can tell that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, which is, now adding on to that, what are some obstacles you've encountered being the president of the Little Miami River Chamber of Alliance? And then, of course, with the stay-at-home order and the closing of your businesses, that are members of the Little Miami River Chamber of Alliance. What were some real big obstacles that maybe you encountered during this time thus far?
Yeah, right away, we kind of came out of the gate right away when we saw what was happening. And, people were all, I think walking in different directions going, what does this mean? What does it look like? So the obstacle that probably was the hardest was just deciphering the message that was out there and getting that out to all businesses and helping all the businesses in our area. So making sure they understood what was being asked of them and then what they could do in order to stay open. So creative ways to help them stay open, can they apply for the PPP? Can they apply for the emergency funds? Can they serve people with masks on? As this continues to flow and flow, what does this mean? So just getting that definition of what that means day in and day out to the businesses. And then learning the virtual technology that we're on right now, that was a learning curve for us as well. So trying to figure that out and meeting with everybody, that was just all new. I think it was to everybody. So you're seeing kind of some jokes on Facebook of people freezing up, or you can't hear somebody, or somebody coming in late, people talking over each other, just getting past those barriers. And then, what exactly are the businesses offering and getting that out then to the community. So are you doing carry out? Are you having a special, doing an Easter special, Mother Day special? Trying to keep up with all that and then disseminating that and getting it out to the public. All obstacles and challenges that I hope we've been able to overcome.
Oh, and I agree. I mean, the way you have kept people so informed with your posts on your guys' Facebook page, I am totally impressed. Thanks. So impressed by that. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. A lot of work for you.
Meredith a lot for that. So who works at the chamber.
We love Meredith Taylor. Go Meredith.
Yeah, tell her we said hello.
I will. Yes, she's on it. Yeah.
Now that brings.
Oh, we lost your sound again.
Cassie, your sound's out again.
And then I don't know if you're able to speak on this at all.
Kathy, your sound was out when you started.
My sound was out?
Yeah,
can you hear me
now? Yeah, so wherever you were at.
I'm still in the same place. I don't know. But what I was saying is in regards to the small loans, were Loveland's businesses able to secure them? And if so, how are they doing in the present? And will there be, unfortunately, any businesses that have to permanently close their doors that you know of?
Yeah. So I can't speak for each and every one, but I did speak with a handful of them. Okay. And I saw early on, they were asking each other, did you get, have you seen anything? Have I seen any, have you seen this? So I don't believe in the first round, many were funded. Can't say everyone wasn't, but many were funded. But it sounds like the second round, they were able to secure some funding. We tried to get that out as quick as we could. And also, we've been very blessed with some marketing and financial folks that have reached out and offered to help guide them through that. We did a virtual webinar on how to get through some of that. So at any rate, I believe that they were all able to get what they needed, at least for that PPP.
Awesome. That is great to hear, because I have been worried and concerned because I love these Loveland businesses so much,
Yeah.
They're so great.
Loveland has some manufacturing too. And so I've been thinking a lot about the folks in the Commerce Park where the manufacturing for the most part is, and thinking about the workers there.
Mm-hmm.
And can you speak to that? Because I did drive through last week and only saw one business that, well, besides there's a delivery. Is it UPS that's up there, or?
There is a UPS.
And FedEx is there as well.
FedEx.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Workhorse, which has the UPS trucks there, David.
Well, Workhorse had a lot of cars, so they were working, but most other places were not.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, as we know that you couldn't have, the businesses weren't open. You couldn't go to your office. Yeah. So I don't know when you drove through, but you couldn't literally go to your office. We were supposed to social distance. Now that's lifted and we're able to go to our offices. So, from what I've heard, none of those have closed that I'm aware of. I've spoke to one or two that seem like they're business as usual. And now they're business as usual, but I don't think they were all working from their offices in the Commerce.
Yeah, just like we were and still are. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Cece, like we were talking about earlier, how great you guys have been with relaying messages to the community about the businesses. So walk me through, exactly what you did in your team, Meredith and everyone, to ensure that, the businesses would survive this unfortunate situation. What did you do? What extra things did you do to really make that ensure that they're going to stay open and they're going to survive and keep on being successful?
Right. I've talked a lot about communication, and I know, Meredith and I both have worked a lot with different organizations, meaning I'm part of, I guess, a consortium, if you will, of Cincinnati chambers, led by the U.S. Regional Chamber, Cincinnati U.S. Regional Chamber, Northern Kentucky's on there, and then smaller chambers like myself. So there's a consortium that I meet with every week. She's meeting with, food trucks, if you will, to find out what's going on with our food truck rally and what's available as far as dates. So going back to communication, we're trying to stay up to date as much as possible through different groups like that. I'm also part of the U.S. Chamber, the Ohio Chamber. We're trying to stay up to date so then we can kind of disseminate that again and get that out so that we can help the businesses as much as possible. So that's one thing we've done. Our board has been very gracious. Obviously, as a small business, a nonprofit organization, we're concerned too. Right. We're trying to keep our doors open. I am full-time. Meredith is part-time. And we're very blessed. Our board sees the role that we're playing within the community and is empowering us to go out and continue to help with the businesses. And so we've been able to stay open. And fortunately, because of a strong year last year, we're pretty strong. So we will be able to stay open for quite a while, not forever without having any events, but for quite some time. So we're very pleased with that. We've worked with Loveland Legacy Foundation, if you're familiar with them.
Yes.
That foundation, as you know, came out of the fire in 2016. And we've been able to work with them and identify businesses that are at risk and give them some small grants, $300, $500, to help them maybe with a phone bill, with part of their rent, you name it. It's up to their discretion. And some have actually turned it down. They said, we may need this in the future, but so thank you. Or yes, we need this now. We're struggling. We have no income coming in. We can use all the help we can get. So it's been quite the blessing to work with them. I have gift cards over here that we've been able to provide their employees with Kroger gift cards, Target gift cards, Visa gift cards, restaurant gift cards. So if they're out of business, we know that they're getting unemployment, but we want to help them a little bit more than that. So we have the best community in the world, I'm telling you.
Amen to that, seriously.
Yeah. Additionally, so we've worked with the city a lot. We're very pleased with that communication. Probably speak with the city, the mayor, the city manager every day, every other day, many times a day in some cases, to make sure folks understand what's going on. We've also partnered with local businesses to create revenue streams for other small businesses. For example, I'm seeing, Whistle Stop Playworks partner with Loveland Sweets for Mother's Day. So pretty cool there. That's kind of exciting. And we've also partnered with some financial institutions. I mentioned we did a webinar on how to do the PPP and what funding was out there. And we've executed, as you mentioned, Cassie, nonstop communication via social media. So very excited about that we've been able to do that. And going back to the beginning of this, within 24 hours, we had a list of ways that these businesses could start helping themselves. Wow. So I'm proud that we got out, strong out of the gate and we're there for them. It's important that they know that we're there for them.
I agree.
As a lead organization. So
now this question, you can speak on it how you feel. This is one that I really want to know your professional opinion on. So in your professional opinion, how do you feel the city of Loveland has been handling the stay-at-home order as well as the COVID-19 outbreak as a whole?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. Again, I think, take this as, as you will. I've been in communication with them every other day, the city, and if not every day. So I'm pleased with what I'm hearing. They are trying to get things open, but they want to comply and keep everybody safe. So I'm pleased with where they've gone, maybe because I've seen the journey of where they've gone, and they're not going to disobey our governor. They're not going to disobey the government. They have reached out and implored him to try to open things in a safer manner. They don't feel that it's a black or white situation. They don't feel like it's everybody stay home in your house, don't go do anything, lock your doors. But they also don't feel like open up the gates and let everybody out and infect everybody as well. So I mentioned I have an elderly parent, so I hear them say things like that as well. So they feel like that there are things we can do now. And they wrote a letter, I believe, to our governor suggesting some different things that the businesses can do now to open and stay open, not open completely, but stay safe, but yet maintain that distancing and keep the spread from getting out of control at this time.
I didn't know that that's awesome that they got that involved. That's very impressive, writing a letter. That takes a lot too, to actually have the confidence to put something like that out there. That's great. I love
Absolutely. that. The letter is out there. If anybody would like to see it, I believe it's out there. I can tell you this, a little hot off the press, that they're going to open Saturday at 12 o'clock. They're going to have a DORA for 60 days. And the DORA starts at 12 noon and goes to 11 o'clock at night. Kind of looking at my notes here to make sure I have my times right. And so what folks can do is go buy a couple drinks, say from Lyle's, from Ramsey's, wherever your favorite spot is, buy a couple drinks, and then you can take them and you can enjoy them in Nisbet Park. Because it's a DORA, so you have to stay within the boundaries. You can't enjoy the drinks within those boundaries. We're not, I'm not, and I know the city doesn't want to interpret the liquor license law, but they do know that came straight from the governor's office, that will be allowed. There was going to be a protest in downtown Loveland Saturday, and that's no longer happening. It's been moved. So we're excited that we can open up in safe distance. There'll be picnic tables. They'll be on Jackson Street Market and in Nisbet, that folks can go downtown and enjoy the downtown area, either if it's with food or a beverage, alcoholic beverage. You may walk around with that beverage and enjoy that. So hopefully if the weather holds out for us, we'll get a nice, safely distanced crowd. And that the city made that happen.
Oh, awesome. And you know what? I won't say too much about my opinion with the protests and all that, but I'm glad that that's being either, canceled or postponed. And the reason I say that is because I do think it's important to make it more of like a family environment on that first Dora. You know what I'm saying? So, get the kids out in the park with their parents and that kind of thing. So I do think that's good to start things out the gate family oriented. I think that's
absolutely. Yeah. They were going to postpone the Dora for that reason. And since that's moved, it was the right move to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not going to shift it to a different location from what I understand. I don't know all the details. And so as a chamber president, I am happy about that.
Oh yeah.
I don't want that in our downtown area. That's not welcoming. So.
Amen. Yes. And I live here, so I live right in the heart of it.
I didn't want it here either. I virtually live in the downtown area, and our office is pretty, a couple blocks away. And I felt a little upset that Loveland was targeted because of our popularity and the fact that there would be a large crowd down there on the weekend. And we were going to be exploited.
You're right, David. That's exactly why they did it, because of our popularity.
And it didn't take me 30 seconds after I found out that they wanted to do this, or we're going to do it here. It didn't take me 30 seconds to go on the Facebook page of the group and find the boastful pictures of previous rallies with assault weapons and Nazi symbols and so forth. It just wasn't appropriate for here. It's not appropriate for any place. And I don't wish it on any place. Apparently they're looking maybe to take it to Lebanon, but I'm kind of fond of Lebanon myself. I don't think it should be taken any place.
Let's keep this the sweetheart of Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next point, and this one is a little bit more personalized, and I'm just curious because I know how my mother's dealt with it, having kids, this whole situation, and being a nurse. She's basically, on the front lines. So obviously I've told you this, and I truly believe this. You are extremely hardworking. I'm sure a dedicated wife and mother. Talk about your children and how they've overcome and dealt with schools being closed for the year. And would you like to give any advice?
Yeah. So I feel bad that you've asked me this because I have my children are 18 and 22. So I'm not home trying to entertain, a 6 and 8 year old, and I have neighbors across the street that I'm seeing, that work with that. And God bless them. That, I remember those days. I really do. It's challenging, and trying to sit there and homeschool them. I used to do I was taking myself back. I was trying to do summer workbooks with my kids, when they were younger in those ages. And, their friends are standing at the door peering in. Are they done yet? Are they done? And they're like, Mom, let's go. So, I can't even imagine. But with my two seniors, senior in high school, senior in college, as I mentioned, they are motivated because they see that end. They've got that going for them. They see a graduation of some sort, that they are graduating, and that's a whole nother topic. What kind of graduation?
Yeah.
But they are seeing that there's something that they can check off at the end of this, and so they've been troopers. Yeah, I had to kind of nudge my high school senior a couple times to get up before noon. And get but, I told him, I said, don't make me parent you. Come on.
Now, your one son, is he going to play collegiate sports?
He's going to try out. He actually was speaking with the school he's going to, like at the very beginning of this. We were standing in the grocery store with everybody cleaning out the shelves. And I was there because I truly needed something, not to just load up on toilet paper. And it was kind of funny. He looks at me and goes, they're calling me now. So, and it was about, he was going to be going to the city he's going to school in, and they were going to come watching. So it's, it's the 11th hour, but he's going to try out. And so we'll see. He wants to. He's working out. So
now, that's what I was going to ask, because you've seen kind of the segment I did with Loveland High School athletes, and what are they doing to stay in shape? what has your son been doing? Because I know he's going to try out. So has he been getting out there and trying to work on his fitness or what?
He's gotten creative. Talk about creative. He's puts on a backpack and he finds these books, these heavy books that we've had, one's the giant ACT book that he doesn't need anymore. So he's taken that. So he's found all these books that are real heavy, puts those in his backpack, and he's doing all these different push-ups and lunges and things like that. He'll go on our deck, and then he's a goalie. So he has some weird shaped ball that he throws against the wall that makes him kind of agile. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm like, what is this? And so I'd like to see a little more cardio in there personally, but God forbid I should add in, my workout advice.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
What do I know, right?
Cassie and Cece, we may only have a few minutes left because we're cutting corners here at Loveland Magazine also, so we haven't bought into the premium Zoom, and we only have a few minutes left on this. So, but let me just say thank you so much for coming to be with us.
Absolutely.
Good luck with everything.
For asking.
But I do want to ask, share one of your favorite stories so far, with the local businesses, an example being, a local business gives back to first responders, or, something as simple and random as tipping big or donating to the Life Food Pantry. Share one of your favorite stories during this time thus far.
First, you're asking me to pick a favorite child, and it's not fair, but I do have a pretty cool story. Early on, Jeff from Blooms and Berries reached out and said to me, Cece, what are some businesses that I can reach out to? So I gave him a list of businesses, and I didn't really know what he was doing. He said, I have some money. And I was like, well, that's good. We like that. I have some money that I want to put in these businesses. Well, what I didn't totally understand was what he was going to do was buy some food and then take it to one of the area hospitals and feed the first responders there. Wow. And so I did learn that he reached out to a bunch of businesses in the Loveland area. So not all Loveland, but maybe Sims and Miami Township as well in the area. Specifically, I saw Scott Gordon with the Works at Bethesda North with his pizza truck, serving up pizza to all the first responders. And then he got paid for that. Some of it, I know Scott, he was probably way more generous than what he received, that he got some money for that through Jeff at Blooms and Berries. So Jeff at Blooms and Berries partnered with all these businesses, and they met at the hospital and provided a big old lunch to the first responders. So I love collaboration. I get all giddy when I hear about, these collaborations, lemons and limes, and they're partnering with Hometown for Mother's Day. It gets me all giddy. That's like the dream come true for I think a chamber. We love that.
Yeah. Now, lastly, this is the last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Cece, what is your vision? What is your vision for the chamber? What is the vision for Loveland now? What do we do next?
Yeah. I mentioned at the beginning of this, we were so strong and everybody was, going on all cylinders, Cassie. So, it really was emotional in the beginning. I feel like I have 300 children that I really do care about. And so it's very hard, but here's what I know. And, I can't predict I don't know what everybody's budget's like. The chamber is strong. And again, we feel very blessed. We can't go on forever without having income. We are getting renewals. We actually have had, over the past 2 months, I think we've had 5 new members. I know. It's like, that is really unreal. And so thank you for that community, for having faith in us. And they should. We're not going anywhere. Again, our board isn't prepared to make any moves. We've worked hard to become strong financially. We run very lean and very, very lean. Pretty much, you look at our finances, and it's rent, it's utilities, salaries, it's as lean as they come. There's no travel budget in there. So I'm proud of what we've done together. For the businesses, I don't want to again speak for the city, but we're fighting hard for everybody to make sure they stay open. So if somebody is at risk, we want to know, because there are resources, and there are a lot of resources. Matter of fact, I can't go without this interview without mentioning Loveland Community Resources, where literally every nonprofit in our area came together. And if there is somebody that's hurting, whether it's a business, an individual family, elderly, whether it's mentally, financially, food, those businesses came together, and nonprofits came together, and it's called Loveland Community Resource. There's a website, there's a phone number, you pick up the phone, you call, we're there to help. So our community tells me we're going to end up on our feet. We survived a fire, we can survive a pandemic. We survived a fire that basically closed our city practically for 18 months, if not longer, and shut down 3 or 4 or 5 businesses. We can do that. We got this. I know we can do it.
Because we're Loveland strong, right?
We're Loveland, and this community is unreal. And so I know we can do this, and we will.
Well, Cece, thank you so much for doing this with us. I know it's been a little glitchy today, but thank you so much. This was a wonderful interview. Thank you, Loveland, for tuning in, and definitely try to sit through this interview and really focus in on what Cece's saying, because we're here for you guys, and we always will be. We'll see you later, Loveland. Thanks for tuning in today.
Thanks, Loveland Magazine.
Thank you.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Here we are.